So, hello, Lavanya.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Uh, Tell me something about you which is not there already in your application. I've gone through your application. But if I want to know you more, what is it that you like to tell me?
Sir,
Yes.
I'm a very sweet person. I love interacting with people, and I consider myself as a very confident personality, a charismatic personality, not just because of outer beauty, but also because of inner beauty, which I have
Mm.
got in the values, the moral values that the parents and my grandparents have instilled in me since childhood. And I love exploring spiritual paths to connect myself to the higher divine power. And that not only provides me inner peace, but also keeps me morally grounded. And that reflects in my ethical decisions and my behavior as well. Overall, I am a very cheerful personality, so as to say.
Very well. Uh, I must commend you. You have a very high opinion of your own self.
Yes, sir.
Uh, do you think like your values they're shaped by the societal values, or are they something very personal?
So I think that initially the foundation is laid by the societal values. That is the value percolation from the parents, the family, the school system, even the workplace. They shape our values. But eventually, once a foundation base is built upon, then maybe we can explore new pathways. For example, listen to some spiritual talks or some other material that is available, or read some scriptures, and that can further build and give a personal touch to the over and above the social values that have been built upon us in us.
Mm. Very well. What kind of value system you think is required for or is appropriate for a career in the civil services, Lavanya?
Sir, if I have to say it in one line, then it should be Sheelam Param Bhushanam. That is, character is the greatest virtue. And this character should be built upon values of integrity, honesty, compassion towards others, and a service attitude towards people. So these are the main values, apart from all the foundational values that are there for a civil servant, that one has to have a good leadership, um, objectivity in approach to ensure impartiality. So all these
Hmm.
values are very important for civil servant.
Integrity and honesty, are these two the same thing or are they different?
So while on the face it may look same, but there's a slight difference. So honesty is being truthful, while integrity is upholding the highest moral standards and being truthful not just on the surface but to oneself. So for example, yes sir.
Yes, please continue. I'm
So
all ears.
yes sir. So for example, a thief, he might be honest by telling that he steals things, but somewhere the integrity is missing, because theft is something which is not a positive social value in one's, like in a society. So on the face he might be honest, but to himself he might not be honest. So integrity is missing here.
Any incidents from your life which can tell us that you're a person with integrity? Any incidents, big or small?
So I was, during my college time, I was the president of this Association for Computing Machinery Society. So I founded the society. So initially there were many challenges, but because my vision was strong that I have to dilute this gender gap that is existing in the STEM or the computing fields, so I was honest to my work. I was honest with my timelines and the dedication that I have to put in, as well as to my personal self, that even despite my, for example, despite my external schedules or my exams coming in, I was having this spirit that being honest to myself, and I have to dedicate, like I have to streamline the things that have been planned, and my personal motives, like my personal situations should not hamper the growth of the organization per se. So this is where I feel that I displayed integrity.
Very well. Uh, you hail from Ghaziabad, yes?
Sir, I was born and brought up in Delhi. I'm just residing in Ghaziabad for the past 2 years only.
Okay. So, which place you would say you are more familiar with? Which of the two cities?
So I'm more familiar with Delhi.
Delhi.
Delhi, yeah.
Okay. So, Lavanya, can you give me a sociological profile of the city?
Yes. So firstly is the demographic for Delhi. First is the demographic composition. We have 65% working population and
Yes.
no tribal population per se. And aging population is also increasing, elderly population. So secondly, with respect to the women's safety, the crime against women is relatively higher than the average, national average in India. For example, the crime rate is 144 per lakh women. So thirdly, we see the problem of unplanned urbanization and the ghettoization, like the slumification of Delhi and poor access to basic services in slum areas, leading to poor quality of life. So fourthly, we see that the environmental issues regarding air pollution, the Yamuna pollution, are impacting the quality of lives of the people as well. And so fifthly,
Yes.
in terms of economic terms, Delhi is a service sector led economy with 85% of the contribution coming from the service sector. And lastly, on the governance aspect, we see that there is a power tussle between the elected government and the central government regarding some aspects. So this is an overall profile of Delhi sociologically.
Very well. The issue of women's safety that you've raised, can you suggest some technological interventions which can help us to address that?
Yes, sir. So 3 to 4 measures are coming to my mind in
Yes.
technological aspects. So firstly is the AI powered CCTV cameras for real time surveillance, and that too installing them particularly on a priority basis in dark spots where there is some sort of isolation, and that will send real time alerts to the nearby police station so that action can be taken up if there is any mishappening with the women. So secondly, we can have an IoT kind of device like a smart bracelet where the moments, the anxiousness, and every like emotional parameters, everything is measured, and that bracelet can send an alert to the nearby police station so that immediate actions can be taken up. So
Okay.
thirdly, a real-time database for monitoring the status of the complaints filed by the women, because we see that reporting and recording effects are high in Delhi, but we need to step up the justice delivery time. So fixing the accountability would be possible only when we track the status of FIR using a real-time dashboard. And fourthly, sir, handy mobile apps with some emergency SOS sort of option, and that should be complemented with a 24 into 7 the authorities that are up and running so that immediate response can be ensured.
Some sort of a helpline you're suggesting.
Helpline number, both from the app side, application side, like we can send alerts, as well as the receiver side where the authorities are there up and running 24 into 7. So we have to increase the police force as well, and especially the women teams, and setting up the pink booths can be another option to provide a more.
So, in your assessment, what is preventing the administration from adopting such measures?
So some of the reasons why the administration, I won't say that the administration has not adopted the technological measures. There are many, like the CCTV cameras, or even the pink booths, and the SOS emergency apps are there. But I feel that some lacuna, like there's a personal incident also. So I can tell from that there are some lacunas. For example, the applications are not up and running all the time. The user interface is not so much friendly, so that all the women from all the backgrounds can easily access it. So then there are some bureaucratic delays in improper implementation of these programs. So then the police modernization fund is also not utilized optimally. Even the reports suggest the same. And sir, there is a lack of awareness among the women. A lot of awareness has to be generated on the ground so that the women become familiar of how to use these applications.
Yes. Do you think there is a gap in the number of women who are recruited in the police force?
Definitely, sir.
Yes, and so should we be? Would you recommend something like reservation for women in police force recruitment?
So police force is still considered a very patriarchal system, although the biases are diluting gradually. But a reservation, not a permanent one, a temporary reservation, similar to like the 15-year reservation provided for the women in parliament. So some sunset clause should be there for the reservation, and it would be an initial good start to increase the representation of women in the police force. And eventually, when the reservation gets over, I'm very hopeful that it will automatically create a positive cycle of like the increasing women representation and even diluting the gender biases within the police force. And sir, I believe that the government has already taken various steps. For example, in recent times, we see that in IPS service, the number of women uptakes are increasing gradually also.
The whole issue with any reservation is that, most of these are theoretically temporary to begin with. But then it is pragmatically very difficult to withdraw once, the date it continuously is extended for another 10 years, another 15 years. Don't you think so?
Sir, I believe, for example, if we compare the reservation that was originally introduced in the constitution for the SCs, STs, there was not a proper timeline when it began. So the government, the incumbent government, they kept on delaying it. But for example, we see that in the women reservation in parliament, there is a sunset clause in the beginning itself. So this is a kind of nudge in the minds of the people that this is for a particular time period. It's temporary in nature. So if the reservation policy has to be laid out, then the sunset clause has to be provided up in front there. It should not come in between, and there should be a specific clause that it cannot be extended beyond a particular time, because ultimately the purpose of reservation is to improve the representation. It's not a socio-economic eradication tool per se.
Very well. Lavanya, will you describe yourself as a feminist?
Sir, I am, but I'm not a radical feminist. I am a liberal feminist.
Yeah. You think, nowadays there's an increasing, it is increasingly necessary to offer that qualification?
Sir, can you please repeat? Like, I didn't get
I'm saying nowadays it seems it is increasingly necessary to offer that caveat that one is not a radical feminist, lest one be taken as one.
Sir, given that we have multiple ideologies in feminism, so I believe that clearing one's stance is important to give a perception to the other side as well.
Has feminism somewhat become, somewhat of a dirty word nowadays, come under various kinds of attacks?
Sir, any ideology, it can be perceived by the people in different ways. So while some section of the population might feel that it has become a dirty word, or it has become a tool for a personal sort of achievements rather than the social change for the women in general. But I still believe that feminism, if we look at the concept, the essence of feminism, it still believes like it is a positive connotation, and more awareness needs to be created among the masses, particularly among the counterpart gender, to to give them an essence of what feminism actually is. For example, sir, there is a famous scholar. I'm not able to recall her name, but she wrote a book where she said that every man should be a feminist as well.
Hmm.
So it's not, the ideology is not about giving women some more powers, but it is about equality and women empowerment. So that 50% of the women population that comprises of the globe, they are at equal footing with their counterparts.
Very well. What do men stand to gain by endorsing feminism? Won't it be like, frankly, displacing men from their position of privilege?
Sir, I don't think so. There are two particular gains that are coming to my mind that the men can gain from feminism. One is that this will dilute the concept that women are, the emotions are attached to the women. Even men are humans and they have emotions and they can have emotional outbursts. So this will normalize this aspect so that even men can express their emotions more more explicitly. It will also give them inner peace and calm. And second,
Hmm.
because today men are seen as working in outside areas, outside of domestic chores, so they lose out on their family time, their bonding with their wives or the children. So feminism in this positive aspect will also ensure that men enjoy the comfort of home along with the earning aspects as well.
Very well. Uh, do you think that pro women laws are being misused on a massive scale nowadays in our society?
Sir, the pro women laws like the Domestic Violence Act, they have been misused, but I won't say it on a massive scale. Particularly, there are no statistics per se, firstly. And secondly, misuse is there, as was seen in the recent case of a suicide case by an IT employee, where the women, uh, ac- she basically accused him or oppressed him. But sir, again, we see that on a larger scale, the women are mostly at the receiving end still. So we need these laws, but they should be more of gender neutral laws.
Very well. So, are you suggesting that various pro women legislation that we have, be it domestic violence, be it dowry harassment or various other such, that they should be replaced by, or alimony etc. related laws, that they be replaced by gender neutral laws?
Uh, so like what I meant by gender neutral laws. Firstly, sir, they should not be replaced by. I mean, they are pro women laws, but there should be some provisions so as to ensure that the women are not misusing these laws against the other gender. And
Hmm.
secondly, sir, because judiciary has a responsibility of providing justice, so some case by case basis, and even the judiciary, I mean, we have to trust the wisdom of the judiciary that they provide justice to both the genders, and whosoever is the victim needs to be provided the justice. And thirdly, sir, the pro women laws are actually necessary because on a larger scale women are still at the receiving end, be it the invisibilization of the domestic care work or the marital rape, and such sort of situations are existing.
Very well. I'm sure you've heard of the glass ceiling. You're aware of it.
Yes, sir.
Um, is there also a glass floor?
So there is not, I mean, I have not heard of the term glass floor, but I've heard of the term sticky floor.
No, that is different. That's not what I'm asking you about.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Have you heard of the glass escalator?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
So a glass escalator means that even if the workplace is women dominated, for example, a school where the teachers are mostly women, but towards the higher position, it is headed by a man, even in the women dominated fields. So we see that in most of the schools, the principal is generally a male, while most of the teachers are females. So this is a sort of escalator.
Very well. And what's a glass cliff?
So a glass cliff is a situation when the women are given power, responsibility, and authority in the time of crisis. So because in time of crisis, there is a high chance of there are high chances of failure. So if at all she fails, then the society can claim that, see, we gave her the position, but she is not capable enough. But this is sort of a hooks sort of situation.
Very well. Lavanya, where are you staying presently?
So I'm staying in Ghaziabad.
Ghaziabad. The only thing we've been hearing about from Uttar Pradesh nowadays is the Kumbh Mela.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And you were also a religious person, you mentioned.
Yes.
So, did you have an opportunity to visit the Kumbh?
Sir, not yet.
Very well. Do you think that this religious event is consuming too much of the attention of the administration?
So it is true that it is taking too much attention of the administration, but I do not see it on a negative side because it's a temporary event after all, 45 days event, and it just not have a religious connotation. It has an economic connotation, a social connotation. It is providing jobs to many, creating a lot of economic benefits for the administration, and even promoting the cultural and the religious spiritual heritage of our country. So due administration focus should be necessary, and they are providing due focus on it too.
Very well. What is the literal meaning of the word Kumbh?
Sir, Kumbh means kalash or a pot in which the things can be stored.
Yes, and what is the context? Like, why do we call it the Kumbh Mela? Why do we celebrate it?
Sir, Kumbh Mela is celebrated every 12 years, and the story dates back to the mythological story wherein during the time of Samudra Manthan, the ocean churning, both the parties, the Devs and the Asurs, they churned the ocean, and the Amrit, the nectar of mortality, it came out. And then when the Amrit came out, there started a war between the two parties. So ultimately, the son of the Indradev, Jayant, he stole the Amrit Kalash, and he basically, to prevent it from the Asuras, he ran away for 12 days. So while this incident, the 4 drops of that Amrit, they fell on the earth at different places in India. So that's the story behind the Kumbh Mela.
Very well. Tell me, how is technology being employed to manage the Kumbh Mela by the administration? Are you aware?
Yes, sir. Sir, one is the AI-powered CCTV cameras for real-time surveillance, and especially at the exit entry points or on the special ghats, so that alerts can be sent to the control rooms in times of emergency. And it also prepares the crowd density maps, the heat maps, so that accurate actions can be taken by the administration to prevent any sort of event mishappening. So second is the use of drones, underwater drones, to ensure that mishappenings under the water while the people are taking dip is not there. And thirdly, sir, we also have the apps in the regional languages, where with customized chatbots, where the the tourists that are coming, the tourists, they can interact with the chart and even find various details that the government is giving, like what are the timings for the snan, or where are what are the different ghats available, or the places directions overall.
Hmm.
That uses GPS, sir.
Very well. Do you think that the youth are increasingly becoming less religious in our country? Is that a fair assessment?
Sir, I cannot comment on the statement because firstly, there is no statistics, and there cannot be any statistics to measure the religious, sorry, sir, religious, sorry, sir, religiousness of the youth.
That will work just fine.
Yes, sir. It's
Religiosity is the word you were looking for, perhaps?
religiosity. Yes, sir, sir. Thank
Yes.
you. So we cannot measure it per se. So there are both sides to the statements we can look upon, but cannot conclude that it is decreasing.
What is your sense from your interactions with your friends and young family members?
So one main observation is I found that particularly after COVID, the religiosity or even the spiritual angle that we see is increasing among the youth, because COVID was a eye breaker. I mean, it gave the feeling that everything is temporary, and even if we invest so much time in work and every other aspect, there is something within us, or there's some higher divine power that is, I mean, that gives the feeling. So can I rephrase it? I'm actually
Please.
sorry, sir. Uh, uh, so I feel that with my interaction with my friends and family members, with my youth friends, I feel that somewhere the spiritual connection or the connection with the divine power is increasing, particularly after the COVID, because COVID has taught us one thing, that the life is very fragile. It's temporary. Like we don't know what can happen next moment. So
Hmm.
religion or spirituality provides a path where we connect with the higher divine power, and it gives some sort of solace to us, and it helps us to explain the inexplicable problems as well. So in that sense, it is increasing. And also, so secondly, we see that with advent of social media, the comparison culture, conspicuous consumption, etc., a lot of youth is going into the mental disorders or depression side. So to in these sort of situations or disorders, they clutch to support that provides them inner peace. And that's where the religion or the spirituality comes in. And so, a practical experience or an example can be, there is a rise of the spiritual guru like um, Premanand Maharaj on Bhajan Marg on YouTube. And a lot of youth are coming to Vrindavan. Statistically, I have this data. A lot of youth is coming to Vrindavan, and not even that. They are giving up the bad practices. They are giving up liquor drinking or cigarette, or the infidelity that is not seen on a positive side in a society. So the changes are also coming in them, and they are very happy with the changes. So that also promotes more youth to seek such directions.
Lavanya, do you see any kind of conflict between your education and training as an engineer and your religious side?
Sir, I do not see it as a conflict. Rather, it is a sort of a harmonious situation for me. As an engineer, my outlook is more rational. It is more data oriented and based in logic and reasoning. Sir, and sir, engineering provides like what can we do, or how can we do that? But religion or spirituality, it gives me the qualities of the nishkam karma. That is, I have to put 100% dedication without focusing on the results. And even it
Hmm.
helps me to bring in inner peace, the mental calm, bring more clarity that can all club together to have a holistic personality as an engineer on an outer side, driven by the ethical moral values that the religion inscribes me within me.
Very well. religion somehow informing the political discourse increasingly?
Sir, in India or at the world?
India specifically, if you're comfortable talking about it.
Yes. Sir, while there might be perception on the surface that religion, the religious lines, the political parties are exploiting the religious lines to garner votes, vote bank based on religion, or field candidates, or other sort of factors, or even the impact in the policy making. But sir, I still see India as a very secular country, and our secularism credentials are very strong with our own model of secularism, where we are providing the protection to the minorities as well. So, so, um, so I particularly do not have any data to back this thing, but there have been cases. I mean, religion has always been, since the time immemorial, it has been used by the political parties or the power, the people in the power, to garner some sort of support from the voters or the people to increase their acceptance. But ultimately, the credentials of India have always been on a secular lines. So,
Okay. Lavanya, imagine if you were posted in charge of an administration in a district, and there is, some festering communal tension between two communities. Say their religious processions are falling on the same day, right? What concrete steps you will take to address the situation?
sir, if the religious processions of the communities are taking place on the same day, my first step would be to ensure to have the engagement and communication with the religious leaders of both the communities, to ensure that the timings are different so that it does not clash at the same time, firstly. And if I can have a conversation with them to ensure to provide them a to provide them an opportunity to conduct the religious processions on different day, then it would be the best case scenario. Otherwise, the timings should be different. Secondly, sir, as a district magistrate, I have the responsibility to maintain proper law and order. So deploying more task force and the officials on the ground level would be very much important, and it will include both the male and the women officials. So thirdly, for the long-term communal harmony, I would ensure the interfaith dialogues should be promoted between the communities, and even the use of local melas, wherein both the communities get a chance to represent their culture, would be a good way to ensure harmony in the longer run.
Very well. Lavanya, a lot of feminists criticize Hinduism as anti women. Do you agree with that kind of an assessment? Is Hinduism anti women?
Sir, if we look at the essence of Hinduism, it is not anti women. It is based in the ethos of equality and respect for the women. We have the instances of the women saints like Lopamudra, Gargi, Apala. These were the
Hmm.
Brahmavadinis. And even the women in the early Vedic times, they were having the right to choose their partner. There were no instances of sati, no, the women remarriage was allowed, and there was a lot of respect for women. However, gradually, sir, we see that Hinduism is not anti women, but some preachers and proponents, because they have some sort of their value system in patriarchy. So that has led to the coming of a more rigid or anti-women stance in Hinduism. For example, the Brahmanical patriarchy. It is rooted in the idea of the Hinduism, not in the idea of Hinduism per se, but how the religious leaders, the scriptures that have been interpreted by them in such a way that it becomes a tool to suppress the women. But the essence of Hinduism is not anti-women.
Very well. Actually, let's move to some other aspect of discussion, if you please.
Yes, sir.
You've done engineering, right? And you worked as an engineer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me, what was the gender ratio in your batch?
So actually, so in my college,
Yes.
so my college was an all girls college. So
Oh,
100%.
very well. But we do see that there are fewer women in general in STEM courses.
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
So prominently because of the cultural and the social barriers, the value system in the family is such that the women are taught to take up the emotional or the affective roles and taught to be women homemakers, where the male part is persuaded to take up the this mathematics and STEM fields. So this leads to the disparity in the education provided to the girl child and the male child. And so secondly, there is also the gender biases in the workplace with fewer opportunities to the women in STEM. So that also deters the women to pursue these fields. And thirdly is the lack of awareness among the women, that they lack of awareness, and also the lack of self-confidence among the women, that they are at par with the men in the STEM field and they can excel, but it's still missing on the ground level.
All right. Lavanya, every other day we hear news of students preparing for engineering entrance exams committing suicides, particularly in cities like Kota and Rajasthan. Can you give me a sociological analysis of these student suicides?
So from a sociological viewpoint, and particularly applying the Durkheim's theory, the suicide conducted by the students is rooted in the social factors rather than in the personal factors. So social factors like excessive competition for few opportunities. So secondly is a lot of str- so excessive competition, and then lot of push or force from the parents side as well. So thirdly is the lack of the integration and the regulation forces. For example, the students have, especially in this highly competitive environment, they do not have a proper social support to provide them the mental relief or the mental well-being. And also the regulations on these coaching industries, for example, the government regulations, these coaching industries charge very high, so it creates a financial pressure on the students and their family as well. So all these forces lead to the suicide of the students, and these are rooted in the social problems rather than just in the economic.
Very well. Coming to the workplace, you did mention that women face some sort of barriers in STEM fields in the at the workplace. Have you personally also encountered any such issues?
So while it is true that there are a lot of structural barriers, particularly in the STEM, so but in my case, I consider myself as a very strong personality. I consider myself as decisive and confident. So I was able to navigate those challenges in my capacity. But that doesn't mean that all the women can do that. So we have to create a supportive ecosystem, and structural barriers should be removed to ensure that the women does not face such sort of barriers there.
Very well. Regarding the ongoing AI summit, uh, why is it that the USA is, kept away and not signed the declaration? Are you aware of this development?
Yes, sir. But I have to read more about it, that why USA did not sign it. So if I'm allowed to take a guess, I can just
Be my guest.
Sir, the USA, there is a technological industrial complex where the tech companies love now, for example, the OpenAI, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, these all are driving the major policies on the technological fronts, particularly the AI aspect. And given that these companies, although on the face are saying that they are secure, they are safe, trustworthy, not violating any rules and regulations, but there have been instances where there have been allegations, for example, the violation of Copyrights Act, or even the very unfortunate incident of the ex OpenAI employees, the alleged suicide. So all these might lead to because the USA wants to retain a lead in the AI race, and ultimately they are driven by the profits. So they till now they might not have signed this because the AI declaration is focusing more on an equitable development of AI, and particularly addressing the needs of the global south. And USA under the Trump president, they are very much focused on the American interest rather than serving the interest of the society as a whole.
Very well. Have you heard of DeepSeek?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
So DeepSeek is a generative AI large language model by the China.
Yes. Do you think we also have the capacity to build our own equivalent of it in
Sir,
India?
definitely, sir. We have the capacity, and also only on capitalizing that capacity, I feel that the recent statement by our mighty minister that we will be coming up with our own foundational model within 4 to 8 months is a reflective of our capacity.
And why is it that this DeepSeek is particularly considered, way too disruptive? After all, there are so many AI platforms now. So why has it been in the news particularly?
Sir, the main idea behind it being a disruptive technology because it has made the generative AI more cost effective and has
Yes.
improved the accessibility of these models to everyone.
Hmm. Do you think that this, focus on AI, it is well deserved, or is it more hype?
Sir, I believe that it is well deserved because particularly whenever because it's in a nascent stage recently, and whenever new technology comes up, there are a lot of challenges regarding its regulations, the guardrails, the safety, trustworthiness, and its potential implications in terms of both positive and negative aspects. So only when we create a buzz about AI, then only it will increase more awareness among the government, among the private companies who are leading the race, and also among the citizens, so that all come to the table together and they can chart down a safe path where the innovation is balanced with regulation, and it benefits the fruits of this technological development goes to all. So it requires due emphasis in that aspect.
Lavanya, do you understand technological determinism?
So I can take an attempt if you can allow me.
Please.
So technological determinism means that everything that is happening in the society, be it the economy, the social aspects, everything, it is determined by technology. So technology is the driving factor behind all the things, other things that are happening in society.
That's quite correct. Do you believe in it? That was my fundamental question.
So I don't believe in it. It's not the technology, it's the human ingenuity, it's
Hmm.
our creativeness and our innovation that drives all the aspects in the society, be it technology or the social structures, the political system, everything.
Very well. What do you understand by zero trust architecture?
Sorry, sir, zero?
Zero trust architecture.
So I've not heard of this term. Sorry, sir.
Okay, let it pass then. Uh, in the last few years, the progress that we have seen in digital payments, uh, do you think it is largely private sector driven?
Sir, although the digital payments have gained popularity because of good user interface and accessibility through apps like Google Pay, Paytm, Bharat Pay, etc. And even the e-commerce has led to increased adoption of digital payments. But sir, ultimately, at the foundation of all these digital payments is the UPI technology,
Hmm.
and UPI technology is led by NPCI, in which government also has a due role to play. So ultimately, it's a collaboration between public and private.
Very well. Um, do you think it's time that we regulate social media usage? Something like what Australia has done?
Uh, Sir, Australia has banned the usage of social media below 16 years of age. Sir, but I believe in India. Sir, firstly, banning is not a solution to any problem. And even the banning in case of technology, it can be easily bypassed by the use of
Hmm.
VPN, etc. So it might not be that effective. So rather than banning, as you rightly said, regulation of social media usage, particularly for the teens, the younger children, is very important. And in that sense, for example, we can have the strict time controls on these applications. The parental controls or the parental consent should be required. And
Hmm.
apart from that, we have to create a whole ecosystem where the children go out to play. They interact with other students in a physical manner, so as to
Hmm.
reduce the dependency on social media as such.
Very well. Uh, Based on your experience, work experience, or perhaps any reading, what is your sense? Does caste play a role in corporate India?
So there have been some studies by sociologists where caste does play a role in corporate India in affecting the life chances and the life opportunities that are present based on the caste. And we still see that overall there is an increased participation and representation of the higher castes in the corporate India. So but sir, that does not only is rooted in the factor of caste discrimination in corporate hirings, but of the early social mobility opportunities in the terms of good healthcare education present from the beginning itself. So because caste is a reality in India, so it impacts the life choices, the life avenues from every aspect till date. But so if
Hmm.
we do a comparison, so relatively in corporate it is less because it's ultimately based on meritocracy rather than ascriptive statuses. But it does.
Hmm. Lavanya, is there a legitimate case for introducing caste-based reservations in the private sector?
Sir, I do not support the caste-based reservations. There can be some anti-discrimination laws, but providing a caste-based reservation would ultimately lead to us diverging from the reality of annihilation of caste, which we aim to achieve by 2047 in my vision of developed India. So rather than caste-based reservations, the more social mobility should be provided since the beginning, and particularly to the depressed classes, as the government is doing so through
Hmm.
schemes, etc.
Should the creamy layer criteria be applied to reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes?
Yes, sir. The creamy layer criteria should be applied because otherwise it's leading to the formation of the Dalit elites and the tribal elites. And the benefits of reservation, that is, representation, is not percolating to the deserved, to the less deserving or the marginalized among the marginalized communities. So it's kind of,
I think you mean the more deserving.
so not more deserving in terms of their socioeconomic backwardness. So, for example, we have the case of uh, uh, so there was I'm not able to recall the community name, but in Punjab there was a subclassification of SCs, and ultimately it has led to providing more representation to the more oppressed Dalits among the whole community. So it has improved the parameters overall.
Very well. Tell me, Lavanya, who would you say is your favorite sociologist? Do you have any?
Yes, sir. Sir, in sir, overall, if we look from Western side, it's Max Weber, and from Indian side, it's M.N. Srinivas, sir.
Very well. Can you list some of the popular books authored by M.N. Srinivas?
Yes, sir. Sir, one is The Religion and Society Among the Cougs of South India. So, second is The Remembered Village, in which he gave the concept of dominant caste. So, I'm unable to recall any other as of now.
These will do. Tell me, why is this book titled The Remembered Village?
Sir, I have to look more upon the reason why it is called so. Sorry, sir.
Any idea, like,
If I can make a guess.
let's keep it aside. Which village was he talking about in the book? Are you aware?
Sir, it was Rampura.
And where is it?
Sir, it's in South India. If I believe it's in Karnataka.
It is in Karnataka, yes. So, do you think his concept of Sanskritization is still relevant today? He wrote about it decades back. I mean, aren't we all basically emulating Western culture, if at all? Who cares about Sanskritic culture today? Or people do?
Sir, I believe that Sanskritization in India, we are witnessing multiple streams of social changes. I would say Sanskritization is still there, along with Westernization as well as desanskritization. So all these are going simultaneously in different chunks of India.
Okay. And tell me about Weber, like which of his writings has particularly appealed to you?
Sir, his concept of ideal type has particularly lured me because it tells us that ideal type is what the mental construct of any sociological phenomena. For example, if I'm a researcher, what I consider important, I keep it in my ideal type. For example, the ideal type of family. But sir, this is an ideal type. We have to realize it might not be the actual reality. So it helps us to gauge the convergences or the divergences in the society. And I believe it as a sociologist, as a researcher, it also brings more tolerance and acceptance to the plurality around us. So,
what are these ideal types? Like, are these like, models worth of emulation or something of the sort? Are they like the perfect of their species?
sir, they might not be the perfect. They are an approximate type of what the researcher considers important elements of any social phenomena. Perfect is a very perfect term is itself a very vague term. No one, like, nothing can be perfect. No one can define the perfect, or the variation of perfect might vary from researcher to researcher. That's where
But you do see yourself as near perfect?
No, sir. if we see ourselves, if I see myself as perfect, then I would stop learning. And I believe that I'm a lifelong learner. I want to stay like the lifelong learner. So,
What does Weber have to say about Hinduism and how it has affected economic development in India?
Sir Max Weber commented that in Hinduism, although the material resources are there that are required for economic development, but the spirit that was existing in the Protestant ethics, the spirit to work, to gain profits, etc., it is missing in Hinduism, because
Hmm.
Weber said that it revolves more around the idea of the other worldly pleasures, the dharma, moksha, etc. So the emphasis on this worldly pleasures that drive us for materialistic benefits and economic development is missing in India, is according to what Weber said.
So, do you agree with Weber's assessment on this count?
No, sir, I do not agree, because our scriptures have given due emphasis on the four purusharths, Arth, Dharma, Kama, Moksha. So, Earth is
Hmm.
just what Max Weber is depicting in his Protestant ethics is only reflective of the earth aspect, while our Hinduism, our philosophy is much broader, and it gives a holistic perspective of how to live life, because only relying on material benefits will not serve the purpose of humans in longer term.
Very well. Tell me, Lavanya, what do you do in your free time? Like, how do you unwind?
So I practice namjap, and I do gratitude journaling. And apart from that, I also interact with my parents, my mother, grandmother, grandfather.
Very well. So, when you do Nam Jap, which divinity do you, whose name do you chant, if I may ask?
Yes, sir. So it's Radha.
Very well. Uh, are there any hidden talents that you possess?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm, I don't know from where this knowledge came to me, but I have a lot of knowledge in bits and pieces, not holistic terms, of various scriptures, the stories, for example, Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads, Vedas, etc. So when I tell these to my friends, so they ask me that from where do you get this? So even I'm not aware of this fact. And so secondly, I believe that I'm very compassionate and I want to help people, and sometimes it does get reflected in my outer actions as well.
Very well. Uh, how do you, as a practicing Hindu, how do you justify statements like Dhol Gawar Shudra Pashunari? Have you heard? Dhol Gawar Shudra Pashunari?
No, sir, I've not heard of these statements.
You
Sir,
haven't. Okay. Let it pass then. Yeah, you want to say something?
so I believe that all these statements, these are just not related to Hinduism. In any religion, we see that particularly the essence of religion does not teaches us to create hierarchies or discriminate against any person, be it men, women, any person. It
Hmm.
teaches us the essence of compassion, love, brotherhood, fraternity. Also, all these statements are coming from the ignorance aspect of the religious leaders, if I can say that.
Very well. So, thank you, Lavanya.
Thank you, sir.
What we'll now do is we are done with the Q&A. So, what is your sense? Like, how did you fare?
Sir, I have this habit of becoming more verbose. I have to be precise. Sometimes directly answer the demand of the question, but I'm going beyond the demand of the question. That is also making my answers long. And that's the main struggle, like I feel in preciseness. Some, like, I have this feeling that I know the answer in head, but just say 1 2 3 precise. Sometimes in
Hmm.
giving a lecture sort of mode, and it might not interest the other person, it might deviate their attention from my answer. So that's what I
Any specific questions or responses you have in mind when you say that? Like which ones you found too longish?
So, for example, the sociological analysis of society, it could have been more structured and precise. I mean, मैंने एक वो पैराग्राफ सॉर्ट ऑफ में बोल दिया. फॉर एग्जांपल इंटीग्रेशन और रेगुलेशन वाले वर्ड्स पहले आ सकते थे एंड देन उसके ऊपर आंसर आई कुड हैव बिल्ट अपॉन. एंड
ठीक है.
सर रिलीजन वाले में तो फीलिंग आ जाती है अंदर से, वो आई फॉरगेट के इंटरव्यू चल रहा है, क्या चल रहा है.
Very well. Right? And in a conversation where you speak more of the panelist, साफ बात है. So that was pretty well addressed.
सर आपने लास्ट क्या बोला? इन कॉन्वर्सेशन पैनलिस्ट लिसन.
Yes, panelists का काम is more to listen more and speak less, and you are expected to be explain more, right? And you did that. It's great that you have that positive image, and that you project it, you know, but there's this thin line if you don't cross over into appearing pompous.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
So that another thing I would say, you should not be unnecessarily relying on scholarly references in your responses during the interview unless specifically asked to do so. For example, when I asked you, is feminism a dirty word? You, in your response, said some scholar in some book, we don't recall, has said that men should also be feminists. The argument is fine. But when you say some scholar has said it, okay, it seems that you are not owning up your...
Got it.
I don't care about this scholar or that. As an interviewer, I'm interested in knowing Lavanya, how she thinks, how she processes information or analyzes situations. So you should own up what you say. It would have come across even better. I said, I feel even men should.
Okay.
You know? So that's a very good response, I would say.
Got it. So बस यही डाउट था, बाकी तो it was a very 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 helpful sessions and enriching session. Got to learn a lot of new things that I have to incorporate. And feedback was also because I thought that I was being very long, very lengthy. So आपने थोड़ा उसे positive outlook दिया. So that is.
I genuinely did not find that, otherwise I would point it out. And I do point it out wherever, like to a student who needs that to be input. It was genuinely not the case in your this thing.
Got it. So Baki, so I'll incorporate all the areas of improvement. You have to do that. And it was really thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was very,
Thanks
very...
a lot. That's very kind of you. This is your which attempt, Lavanya?
Sir, it's my 4th attempt, but my 2nd serious attempt.
And first interview?
First interview.
So we give this examination about 4.5 years of your life.
Sir, actually I was working in Salesforce. So I graduated in 2021. I was working for 1 year. So I actually started studying for this exam in 2022 December. So 2020 prelims I cleared, mains में faltered. तो अभी second में वो पहले मैंने 2 साथ में दे दिए थे. I was not sure. I was not very much inclined towards civil services.
But it's great. Are you still okay? Presently?
Then I left the job and then I gave the 2023 attempt. So.
Achha. And filled up the form for this year?
Yes, sir.
So, Bhagwan kare, you don't need to pay a